What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel. And for today's Yu-Gi-Oh news video, we have a bunch of new cards to talk about that will be in the newest core set, Photon Hypernova. Honestly, I'm actually excited for this one because this batch of cards that now we'll be talking about will consist of a brand new Bestial and a brand new Sword Soul card, which is going to be interesting, and of course some new Dogmatica support, which I guess is their final the final act in the story of the Dogmaticas. A brand new Valence card, a new Plunder Patrol card, and of course two random cards that I don't know what is going on with those cards, but they are interesting. So hopefully you guys are ready for this video. If you guys are and you guys want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh news videos, which get posted every Tuesday and sometimes on weekends, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the turn on the notification bell, and follow me on all my social media. Links will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. Let's kick things off, obviously, with this first card known as Couple of Aces, which is a play on words to Cup of Ace, where if you guys do not know Cup of Ace, basically what it does is you flip a coin. If it lands on heads, if it lands on heads, you get to draw 2 cards. If it lands on tails, your opponent gets to draw 2 cards. And yeah, so it basically acts as a very strange pot of greed, if you will. So the card does come as a 1 for 2, which isn't too bad, but it's all right. But Couple of Aces is a 2-star Earth Fairy with 100 attack and defense, and the first effect is a once per turn, which reads: if this card is in your hand, you can toss a coin and special summon this card. If the result is heads, it is special summoned to your field. If it's tails, it's special summoned to your opponent's field. If summoned this way, which is the second effect, if summoned this way, draw 2 cards. So I guess with this, it doesn't matter who it gets summoned to, which field it gets summoned to, whether it's your field or your opponent's. I think either way, I believe you're gonna be the one drawing the cards instead of your opponent. I don't know, honestly, but I mean, it's another form of pot of greed, so it's not too bad. The only downside though is the fact that if, let's say, this were to be your 5th summon, you're gonna get Nibiru. That's like the only downside, but it's still an okay card. It's an okay card. But next up we have Fierce Tiger Mangu. So if you guys do not know King Tiger Wangu, then you will know Fierce Tiger Mangu, which is a 4-star Earth Beast, 1700 attack and 1000 defense, and it has 2 separate effects. And the first effect reads, all other monsters on the field lose 500 attack. Second effect reads, once per turn during your main phase, you can destroy all monsters on the field with lower attack than this card. It's a bad card, to be honest. It's a bad card. There's a note here that says, there's a note underneath that says, much like King Tiger Wangu, which is King and Tiger, Mangu's name is also duplicated. Fierce and Tiger. Also expect the name to change if I got the Chinese wrong. Okay, alright, obviously we'll be expecting that, but I think that's the correct name. But it's a bad, it's a really bad like evenly match. It's a really bad evenly match, which I don't even know why the card exists, but I mean, I guess, but I mean, I guess it's you know, a little excuse me. I guess it's like a little like mini support, I guess. I don't know. I don't fucking know. All I know is that the card sucks. No use in playing it, right? But next up, we've got a couple of new Bastille. We have a brand new Bastille card and a new Sword Soul card. And the Bastille card is known as Bastille Baldrake, which is a 6-star Dark Dragon with 2,500 attack, 2,000 defense. And both of its effects are once per turn. And the first effect reads, you can target one light or dark monster in either grave. Banish it. If you do, special summon this card from your hand, in which this is a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster. So it's not bad. I mean, it's a nice little like it's sort of like a little like chaos card, if you will, which isn't too bad. Second effect reads, if your opponent special summons a ritual, fusion, synchro, exceeds, and or link monster or monsters, sorry about that, guys. The trash people are here. Anyway, the second effect reads, if your opponent special summons a ritual, fusion, synchro, exceeds, and or link monster or monsters, you contribute one other light or dark monster, then target one of those summoned monsters, banish it. So it's like a, I guess you could say it's like a really bad version of was it Dimensional Barrier, if I remember correctly? So it's okay. I mean something like this would work with the Chaos strategy, but still it's not too bad. Not too bad of a card. The only problem with this is that there are some decks, is that most decks in the current format. Ooh. Ow. There we go. Most decks in the format are usually not light or dark. I think they're mostly like multi attributal. So it's not gonna be too crazy unless if your opponent was playing like Cyber Dragons or something like that, and you were bringing this to locals or whatever, then yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It would be interesting to say the very least, but that's like the only downside, and also too, this is another one of those cards that can sometimes miss timing. It depends on the board state, if you will. So that's like the only downside. Next up, we have Sword Soul Dragon of the Abyss, which is an 8-star fire worm with 3,000 attack, 2,900 defense, and it says cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned by a worm monster's effect. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name per turn. If a monster or monsters is banished by a card effect, you can special summon this card from your grave if it was there when the monster was banished, or hand even if not, but banish him when it leaves the field. Okay, so it's an 8-star. What do? You use the monster as exceeds material, so when you detach it and send it to your graveyard, you can just resummon it. Plain and simple. It's just that simple, guys. That's simple. Excuse me. Second effect reads: if this card is special summon, you can target one card in the field zone and a card your opponent controls, or in their grave, banish them. Okay, so definitely Flunderies would definitely hate that. Sword Soul, I think, Sword Soul runs field spells? Wow. So it basically comes as a break 2, if you will. So that's not too bad. I mean, popping 2 cards on your opponent's board, that's actually pretty fucking good. That's pretty good. Being able to break their board like that is just really, really good. But next up, we have some new Dogmatica support, which I believe this is supposed to be... the final revelation, if you will, like the final act of the Dogmatica strat, and it's known as White Zoa of Dogmatica, which get this, 12-star light spellcaster ritual, 4,000 attack and defense. Now let's see if anything like that exists. Let's see. Monster. Ritual. 12. TCG, OCG, and of course, all. Yeah, there are only 4 12-star rituals. You have Herald of Ultimateness, Drytron Medionis Quadrantids, Drytron Medionis Draconids, and of course White Zoa of Dogmatica. Those are the only 4 of its kind. Holy shit. Holy shit. So the effect the effect reads, you can ritual summon this card with Dogmatic Calamity. And it cannot be ritual summoned except with a Dogmatica card's effect. You can only use the second effect once per turn, and the first effect reads Dogmatica monsters you control are unaffected by your opponent's activated fusion, synchro, exceed, and link effects. Nice little protection there. Not too shabby. Second effect reads, during your main phase, you can have your opponent apply one of these effects. They send 1 card from their hand or extra deck to the grave for every 2 cards in their extra deck. That's basically 7 cards. Holy shit. It basically goes up to 7 cards. That's pretty nuts. Unless if they had... unless if they were running pendulums, then that's one thing, but still, that ain't too bad. They return all fusion, synchro, exceeds, and link monsters they control to the extra deck. Obviously, they're gonna end up choosing to put the cards back into the extra deck. But if they have nothing in their, if most of the cards are in their graveyard, then they're gonna end up milling, which they're gonna end up discarding, which isn't too bad. There's a note here that says Zoa is literally beast or life in Greek, but could be referencing William Blake's use of the Zoa as primordial forces of existence as well. Vala, or the Four Zoas, is one of the incomplete prophetic books in the English poet by the English poet William Blake, begun in 1797. The eponymous main characters of the book are the 4 Zoas: Urthona, Urizen, Luva, and Tharmas. I probably butchered those, so I do apologize. Who were created by the fall of Albion in Blake's mythology. Alright, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But next up we have Dogmaticatrix, I believe is how it's pronounced. Which is a continuous spell, and the effects that it has are once per turn. The first effect reads, when this card resolves, you can add 1 Dogmatica ritual monster or a ritual spell from your deck to your hand. Then if your opponent controls a monster, you can add a Dogmatica card from your deck to your hand. I mean, it's a nice little way. I mean, it's a nice way to thin out the deck and get out Dogmatic Calamity and the new Ritual, which isn't too bad. But the problem is that it'll miss timing because the card has a when effect. So this basically gives your opponent time to negate this card by using cards like Cosmic Cyclone, Heavy Storm Duster, which is a really weird card, but still it's not too bad. The second effect reads, once per turn, if you control a Dogmatic or Ritual monster, you can look in either extra deck and send one monster from it to the grave. So it's a nice little, like, it's a mini Extra Fool's Burial, if you will, which isn't too bad, but again, there are some cards that are a little bit better. That card's not, and this card is not one of them. Next up, we have excuse me. Next up we have Valence of the Wireframe Abyss Arctis 12 XII, which is the Roman numeral for 12, which is a 12-star Earth Fairy Fusion Pendulum, quite the mouthful, with 3,000 attack and defense, and its pendulum scale is 12. Makes sense, given the fact that its name has 12 in it. It would only be right. The pendulum effect reads that the pendulum effect is a once per turn, and it reads you can activate one of these effects. Special summon this card from your monster to your main monster zone in its same column. Move one monster in your main monster zone to an adjacent, meaning horizontal, monster zone. Basically, it's a way to outmaneuver infinite impermanence, which is not too bad. Which isn't too bad in my honest opinion, but still it could miss timing, if you will. But it just depends on the board state. The monster effect, it requires 2 level 5 or higher Valence monsters. And it says that this face down card in the extra deck must first be special summoned by attributing the above cards. You can only use each effect once per turn. The first effect, which is a quick effect, reads, you can switch the locations of 2 monsters in your main monster zone, or 2 monsters in the opponent's main monster zone. I mean, being able to to switch out your cards and outmaneuver infinite permanence is not too bad. The only downside with it, though, is the fact that you're gonna have to find you need to find a way to outmaneuver Nibiru, which is sort of impossible, but at the same time it's kind of possible. And I think Valence, I think this deck is like one of the only few decks that can outmaneuver Nibiru, infinite permanence, and pretty much every other floodgate in the game that you can think of, just by simply by not overcommitting, if you will. Obviously, yes, you can commit, but it's one of those decks that you don't want to overcommit, because if you overcommit, you're gonna get impermed, you're gonna get Nibiru'd, and it's not gonna be pretty. It's not gonna be pretty. But with this, what's cool about this is that you can switch your opponent's monsters, so they basically fall victim to your imperm, which is pretty nuts. The second effect reads, if a card or cards in the monster zone moves to another monster zone, you can destroy a card on the field. Yeah, so basically, so this is a prime example of what I'm talking about. Not overcommitting, but yet committing to the point where you can just break boards easily. I think Valence could very may well be the new meta, in my personal opinion. There's a note underneath that says Shinen means abyss. They replaced the first kanji with wire frame. So literally, that's all it says. That's all it says. That's all it says. But we do now need to move on to the final card. It is known as Plunder Patrol Jord, which is an 8-star Fiend Earth Fiend Synchro Pendulum with 1500 attack, 3000 defense, and it requires a tuner and one or more non-tuners. And the pendulum scale, I believe, is 1. The pendulum scale is Uno, 1. And the pendulum effect is a once per turn, which reads: you can declare one attribute, return this card to the extra deck, and if you do, special summon one Plunder Patrol token, 4-star Fiend, 0 attack and defense, with that attribute to each field in defense position. Token spam, link summon. What's more to say about that, right? Right? Now for its monster effect, which has 2 separate effects. The first effect reads: if your opponent special summons a monster, you can add one Plunder Patrol card from your deck to your hand. Then if this card is equipped with a Plunder Patrol card, you can special summon a Plunder Patrol monster from your deck. So this is really cool because this is basically your Stratos, one of your Stratos for the whole deck. But what's even more cool is that you can also add you can add a Plunder Patrol monster, one of the more problematic Plunder Patrol cards that your opponent won't be able to out, and then just summon a random Plunder Patrol to your field, like Black Eyes, like Black Eyes or something like that, which is pretty cool. Which isn't too bad, and then you just fusion summon, synchro summon, do whatever, make your board, you instantly have game, plain and simple. And of course, the second effect reads: you can target one Plunder Patrol card in your grave, add it to your hand. If you do, place this card in your pendulum zone. That's actually not too bad, especially if the Plunder Patrol, especially if the other pendulum has a skill of I'll say 8 or something like that. You're basically able to summon monsters levels 2 through 7. Which is actually not too bad, because you can just combo off from there, make your board, and just go from there, which is pretty cool. There's a note underneath it that says Jord is the Norse Earth goddess. Nice little history lesson there. But guys, that's going to do it for this video, and that brings me to the question of the day, which is this. Do you guys believe the new Dogmatica support that we just got will be as broken as people say it is? Let me know down in the comments below, and that will do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more Yu-Gi-Oh news videos, which get posted every Tuesday and sometimes on weekends, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and follow me on all my social media. Links will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.